Hi guys, we are back again. In the last 4 videos we were discussing about the process studio. Today we are going to discuss about the object studio present in studio page. If you see clearly, we have two things, one is process and studio. Till yesterday we were working on process, we were working on the pages, collections, exceptions, handling. In the same way we have an object called object studio. How we create a process, in the same way we create object as well. Right click on objects, create object, sample1 underscore object. Next, object description, finish. Once you clear an object, if you see when you created a process, you had only one page called main page. Now in this page, if you create an object, we find three different pages. First is initialize page. Whenever a program is calling an object, it first goes through the initialize page and goes to any other page which is called. Why do we use an initialize page? In initialize page, we generally call our global variables where we utilize in all the pages. Next is cleanup page. While you are running a program, if an unexpected exception is thrown, it goes through the cleanup loop. And last is your action stage. In process, you have to call every page through the main page, but in object studio you can call each page individually from your calling page. Now if you see on your left side, all the variables are same except few things like read, write, navigate, code, wait stages. So using these three, we interact with our client application. How do we interact with our client application? The main object in object studio is application modeler. Once you click on application modeler, we find three things. Are you creating a new application modeler? Sharing the application. We will discuss in the later chapters how are we going to share this application. If you do not want to share your code with anyone, so you can select do not use an application modeler with this object. Then click next. Using the application object, we can automate any Windows based, Java based application, browser based and mainframe application. So for right now I'll click browser based application. So here we have two things. If your browser is already popped up or you're planning to launch a new browser. If you're planning to launch a new browser, then I'll select the second one. Or if my browser is already launched, so I'll be using first option. Here by default we have to use Internet Explorer. If we are planning to use Mozilla or Chrome or any browser based, we have to download their respective .dll files and store in your Blueprism location in C drive. Now I'll be launching Gmail account. So for this I'll first log out my Gmail profile over here so that we can log in again. Sign out. So take I'll use the URL to log in. Let me take the URL again. Doing this right now. Okay. Next. If you have any Java enabled, use Java enabled. Exclude. This defines whether you're using an 32-bit or 64-bit installation which you have used. Next, click exit. Now to test whether your browser is logged in or not, so I'll use the option here, launch. Let's say the URL is invalid. I've changed the URL to https.gmail.com. So I'll launch for testing. I'll first launch the application. So to launch the application, I'll press over launch. So you'll have the verification that your browser has been launched. So now I'll click OK. We have many options how you can launch, but in the starting lessons we'll see using the basic things. Now I'll take a navigate stage. Using navigate stage, we can launch the application, we can attach an application, we can terminate the application which is launched, we can send the predefined keys on your keyboard like home, page up, page down, end, those kind of things. So once I double click on navigate stage, with the name I'll rename it to launch, and I'll drag my main object, this is called the parent object, to my element, and in the preferred action I'll be taking my launch. Click OK. I'll launch it. So here we have the speed button, how you want to run your robo. So this defines very slow, normal and fast. So right now I'll start my robo. It launches, and in the back end you can see the robo it is showing as completed on the top. So after launch, what is our next option? I want to write over here my email address. So what I'll do, using my application model, I'll click over it. In element 1, I'll write as username, and I want to spy that box where I want to write. So Blueprism is mainly working on spying on the elements created on the browser or your Windows based application. So I'll click on identify and then select my IE. So once I get over this one, I can see if you can see the page is going left and right. So this is a box. I have to identify myself. This is sign in. So email. I'll click over this and verify. So once I select by using control left click, then over here I have to verify whether I have selected properly. So the value is showing us to continue to Gmail. I have to verify it is over here in your browser where it is showing, so continue over email. So once I highlight, it is over here. So to select over this, I'll again click on identify and select this one. So to select this box, I'll press control left click. So once I select, again the application model shows its characteristics. See, it's showing as input as type. So once I give, I'll only remove the parent URL, edit, highlight to verify. Once I highlight it, I'll click OK. So I want to write my username. To write my username, what I'll do is I'll take a right stage, double click, and I'll drag my username over to my element, and this is it is same as a calculation stage. So to define my username, I'll give as in the double quotes. If you're defining a text, Blueprism logs @ click on OK. I'll again connect it and I'll cross the browser, launch again. It's launched the application. Now see, as still running. If you can clearly, it is showing us the right stage on the action when no elements were matched. So what I'll do to verify again, I'll click on my application modeler, username, I'll hit on highlight. It's highlighting, but it has not written. That means the time it took to spy, it did not wait on the screen. So to wait, I'll implement an wait stage. So for this I'll click over here and I'll drag. So by default, if you double click in the wait stage, you will see a 5 seconds time wait out. So I'll take and again connect it over and launch the application again. Refresh it. So if you see, after launching, it waits for 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it should write. See, it has written. So once I write my username, I have to click on next. So for that, I'll again take my application modeler. After username, I want to add a subsequent element to it. So I'll add element to it and write as username hyphen next. So I'll click on identify. I'll select the next button. Again, it shows the characteristics. So I'll remove my parent URL. I'll again hit highlight and I select it. As I said earlier, navigate stage is used to click and button as well. So what I'll do, I'll call another navigate stage again below this, right? I'll double click and I'll call my username next over here. And I'll select click center. And I'll change this as click on next. So for this, see, every time I cannot close my browser and start from my starting of my execution. So for that, to overcome this, Blueprism has an inbuilt thing like you have to click over the click next and write set next stage. So what does this do is it will run your program from where you have stopped. So once I click over start, if you see, it has clicked and it is asking for our username. So now what we'll do is, if I write in this way, if I define my password in this, everyone can see our username and password. So to overcome this, Blueprism has an inbuilt function again called data items in Object Studio as well. So here I'll give as username, the for data type is text, and I'll create another data item called password, and I'll select the data type as password. So I can define my username here itself. Here, as it is an initial value, and we can directly store it without any text properties. So for that, now I'll give my ID over here. And I'll define my password. See, until and unless your current value is overcome with the initial value, there will be no value given. So I'll refresh again. So for again I'll specify the password for right now. I'll remove the parent URL as usual. I'll click on highlight. It's done. Then again I'll define another word. Password hyphen next. Click on identify. This, apply again, highlight. So now we are done till username and password. So I'll close this one. After clicking on next, what is our next thing? We are writing our password. See, earlier we have written the value here directly. So now what will I do? I'll drag my password out to element. Instead of writing the expression, as I have defined my data item, I'll call my password out from here and drag it and leave it here. Click on OK. Now after writing username, I again want to click on password next. So I'll drag my password next over to the element and click center. So once this is done, I'll again link everything. So if you see clearly, everything is done in a flowchart format. So Blueprism mainly works on spying and the way you design your flowchart. refresh again. So I'll start my robot. It waited for 5 seconds, then again it wrote the username, clicked on next. So once it clicked on next, the program has been completed. So in this way you can perform n number of actions on your application. So for today time being, we'll close the chapter on how to launch an application and click next. Please practice on this. Any doubts, post below. Thank you.